Welcome to the Southern Suburban Backyard Chicken Course. Let's get started. I'm Holly, a wife, mother, and Florida master naturalist. I've been raising backyard hens for over 8 years, and it has been such a wonderful experience, I wanted to share it with you. Raising backyard hens can be fun, rewarding, and provide food for your family. This course is also designed for those in southern climates and temperate weather, and those looking to raise just 3 to 5 hens. Raising your own chickens can make you feel like a homesteader no matter where you live, and it gives you a little bit of control over your family's food supply. Now let's talk about the coop itself. Ours is made out of cedar. It was our children's playhouse. And you know, when I was growing up in the South, driving around on the back roads with my grandparents, I thought chickens just lived in ramshackle huts. You know, just lean-tos and a little chicken wire. Well, nowadays, chicken coops can be from very basic to bank busters for sure. So you want to think about your budget for your coop and what the requirements are for chickens. The materials that you choose will also have an effect living in the South. We have a lot of heat and a lot of rain. Our cedar has held up pretty well, even though it is about 12 years old. Now that's a pretty long time for the coop itself, and it's time for repairs. You want to consider the materials if you are purchasing a pre-made coop, if you're building one yourself, or if you're retrofitting something you already have. Take into consideration where you live, the climate, the temperature, and if you get a lot of sun, rain, and shade. So here we have a lot of shade, so we have a lot of the moss growing on our coop. It doesn't hurt our coop, and it kind of gives it a cool southern feel. Then you want to consider the size of your coop. Now we're talking 3 to 5 hens. The basic rule of thumb is that chickens need 2 square feet per bird for the inside of the coop. You also want to think about the height. You want your birds to be able to spread their wings and be comfortable and not cramped. You wouldn't want to be cramped inside your space, would you? So you want to have at least 3 feet tall per bird. Now ours obviously is about 5 feet tall on the inside. It doesn't have to be that tall, but I might lean a little bit on the taller than the shorter side. Then you want to think about the interior of the coop, which we'll discuss later. So the exterior of our coop needs to be weatherproof. It needs to have longevity, be stable for more than a year or 2 or 3 for as long as you're going to have your hens. Think about the longevity of the materials. If you're purchasing a pre-made coop or ordering it online, look at the materials carefully. If it's pressed wood, it's not going to last long in the weather. Is it plastic? That's going to last a long time. But then you want to think about ventilation in that plastic as well. There's lots of different materials that work just fine, whether you're going low budget or high end. You also need to think about the placement of your coop. Where is it going to work best in your southern backyard? Now, we want to take into consideration the sun, of course. Here in the South, it gets pretty hot. So you don't want to place your coop in full sun for your chickens to get overheated in the summertime. So it's good to have at least part shade where your coop is going to be, in my opinion. We also want to think about the placement of our coop for our neighbors. Here in a suburban neighborhood, we do need to think about our neighbors and the noise and maybe even the smell. Now, I've never had an issue with smell with my chickens, and my neighbors love them, but you need to take that into consideration. Now, our coop, because it's the children's playhouse, when you drive by on our street, and if you happen to look down our long drive, you see a children's playhouse. It doesn't look like a coop. So those are things you might want to think about. Is it going to blend in with the style of your house, of your yard, and with your neighborhood? And are we in regulation with where you live? That is a very important factor before ever deciding to get chickens. is, can you have them where you live? Homeowners associations can be very tricky, so you're going to have to deal with that on your own. But county ordinances have become much leaner in having backyard chickens, especially as we head into times where sometimes food may be uncertain. It's nice to know you can come out and get a fresh egg. So check with your county and state ordinances on keeping backyard chickens in your county and in your city.